Hey guys, Matt here. This is my review of Jurassic World Dominion. This movie is directed by Colin Trevorrow, who previously directed Jurassic World. This movie stars Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Isabella Sermon, with Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum. Living in a world where dinosaurs have now been let loose upon the Earth, Owen and Claire, played by Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, are now living in a cabin with their now adopted daughter Maisie from the previous film. When something precious is stolen from the family, Owen and Claire must track down those responsible. Meanwhile, Dr. Ellie Sadler, Laura Dern, approaches Dr. Alan Grant, played by Sam Neill from the original film, and they must track down those responsible for creating a new brand of locusts that are eating the world's food supply. Now, if that plot doesn't sound super eventful and exciting, well, that's the movie we got. Let me start with the acting in this movie. The acting from the new trio, as I'll call them, that being Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Isabella Sermon, they're fine. Really, once the first movie happened, Chris Pratt just became like the dinosaur wrangler that helps train raptors, who is like kind of knowledgeable about like wilderness survival, and he's kind of like the soldier guy. Bryce Dallas Howard's character really only changed by the end of the first film, Jurassic World, because she was like this, park worker that was all, business and really didn't have a personality, but then she learned over the course of these last three movies to really care for the dinosaurs and not just look at them as, moneymakers. And then the character of Maisie, in the previous film, she just learned what her origins were, and that's kind of been like messing with her head because she never really feels as a part of anything because of, like I said, who her mother was and where she came from. So this movie focuses less on the characters and more about creating some sort of like action adventure rescue mission type storyline. Meanwhile, the original cast members are back. Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum. They are pretty much playing the same characters from the original film, but Ellie Sadler, played by Laura Dern, now that the times have changed, she's not as naive and gullible. She's more knowledgeable. She's more gung-ho. She's more determined to do things. So the acting on their part is the more standout, because it's nice to see those characters again, and so you're kind of curious what they've been up to and how they've changed. Whereas the new actors and actresses, you're just like, okay, we've seen them for, this will be the third movie now, we know who they are, and they've become kind of bland. As far as the villain in this movie goes, let me just say that Campbell Scott is a good actor. He played Peter Parker's father in The Amazing Spider-Man. He was in House of Cards. He's been in a lot of things, and he's done a really good job in other stuff. Here, as a character that I can't tell you their name because it's kind of a spoiler, but let me just say he plays a character from the original movie that we never thought we'd see again, which was nice. However, as a character, he is very poorly written. He's like this businessman that doesn't like to get his hands dirty, that doesn't really know how to become bad or menacing or even really run a company. He's not a well-written character, and he's very boring. The guy, Peter Ludlow, the bad guy from The Lost World, Jurassic Park, was better written and well done than this guy was, because he's a bad villain. The supporting characters, well, really there's only two of them that are of note. One of them is a character named, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on her name. I'll put her name here in the video after, because I'm blanking on it. But she's played by an actress named DeWanda Wise. She's a pilot of a plane. She's very charismatic. She's really good. There's another character named Ramsey who works for the bad guy, but is a good person. He was fine. Also, B.D. Wong returns as Dr. Henry Wu. So those actors are fine. The supporting cast, they work. As far as the main characters we're supposed to cheer and root for, not so much. And in case you're wondering to yourself, hey Matt, why haven't you mentioned any dinosaurs yet? This is a dinosaur movie, isn't it? Yes, it is. But guess what? There are hardly any dinosaurs in this film. The most of the dinosaurs we get to see is at the beginning and the end. When at the beginning a news report is talking about how dinosaurs have been unleashed upon the world, and it shows you how dinosaurs are interacting with creatures and animals that we know of. There's a scene at the beginning that kind of shows you how dinosaurs are kind of working together, kind of not, with animals that exist. And then at the end, there's a nice touching thing where it shows you a montage of dinosaurs and animals coexisting. Because that's what this movie is about. In between that, if you don't get ridiculously CGI dinosaurs, you get dinosaurs in a couple scenes. I would say the two best scenes off the top of my head involve dinosaurs. Most of the action, most of the suspense, most of the thrills involve, no joke, giant locusts. Yeah. The two scenes that I thought were well done both involve Claire, where she's parachuting out of a plane, and it's like a first-person POV of just her face and her reactions to things. And then another scene where she's trying to sneak away from a dinosaur that's hunting her, and she's crawling along the ground into a swamp. Those parts were really well done, including a scene where a person watches this laboratory set ablaze. That was nice. Everything else in this movie, I was like, okay, it's copy and paste, it's stuff we've done before, run-of-the-mill, boring. It's like watching The Walking Dead. You remember when The Walking Dead first started? Zombies were the threat. They were the menace. They were the danger. They were the things that made you go, oh no, I hope there aren't any. Oh my gosh, watch out. But now, the dinosaurs have become so commonplace that they're just there. They're there to be in a movie called Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, because dinosaurs have been a staple of the franchise. They are there. There's a really cool scene, a dinosaur battle, if you will, at the end of the movie, which is like, oh, awesome! But it's a little too late there. You go to see a movie about dinosaurs, and what we get is a plot about a kidnapped child and a rescue mission. Claire and Owen are going to this area for one reason, and then Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, Ian Malcolm, they're at the same area for another reason. And it's not until the third act that we get these two groups united together, which is really cool to see. Then we get the banter. Then we get the one-liners. Then we get the, oh, you're so-and-so, you do this. And they get the interactions there. So if you're expecting all of these characters to be in one movie together throughout the duration, you're going to be disappointed. A lot of people are saying this film is the worst of the franchise. And I disagree. I think Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was the worst. But that's not saying much, because these Jurassic World movies, aside from the first one, haven't been that great. If anything, they're derivative. So, because it's really good to see the original cast members back, and they're the reason why I'd recommend this movie, I'm going to give Jurassic World Dominion a C. I wanted to like this movie, I really did, but the nostalgia characters, legacy characters, if you will, they're the best part of it. And if they weren't in this film, then yes, this would probably be the worst one. Because you go into it expecting Jurassic World, this world filled with dinosaurs and all the things they could have explored. They could have given us a Planet of the Apes type movie where, Jurassic is now the world we live in 2022, with dinosaurs roaming the earth and humans have to adjust to this new living situation. But no, we get an area that is focused on with little to no dinosaurs, instead of just vast environment. They could have had this movie take place in any location. Yeah, there's globe hopping and globe trotting around the world, but it's more of the same. It's focused on one area. We'll show you a dinosaur here and there to remind you this is a Jurassic Park movie. But when you focus on the characters and the idea of family, that's nice and all, but that's not why you go to see a Jurassic Park movie. So this movie wasn't great. I would recommend it for the nostalgia characters. There are a couple scenes and moments that reflect that of the original movie, but that's the best part of this film, is the nostalgia, the reminder that this came from a movie called Jurassic Park. It focused on so many things in one movie, but now they've seemingly forgotten what Jurassic Park is all about. So until next time, guys, see ya.